All right, let's dive into something huge, the AI evolution of Indian software services. We're talking about a massive, massive shift in one of the world's biggest tech hubs. So, let's get right to it.
And really, it all comes down to this one central question, doesn't it? Is AI a total job killer for India's massive software industry? Or is it a game changer, building a whole new future? That's the debate we're going to unpack.
And when we talk about stakes, look at this number. We're talking about a projected $12 billion for India's AI services industry by 2026. That's not just a trend. That's an economic tidal wave, for sure.
Okay, but here's where it gets complicated. Here's the paradox that's got everyone on edge. On one hand, you have this incredible boom, but on the other, we're seeing all these headlines about layoffs. So what is really going on here? So let's start right there with what we're calling the AI paradox. Is this a real disruption or is it something else? Now, check out this quote. It points to a really interesting idea called AI washing. What Alaganambi-Welkin, a union rep, is saying is, hey, maybe these companies are just using AI as an excuse, a convenient cover for the same old cost-cutting they were going to do anyway. But then you have the other side of the story, right? And it's a powerful one. This argument says, no, this is not just a cover story. AI is genuinely fundamentally changing everything, the very core of how the work gets done.
Which, of course, leads us to the question I'm sure is on your mind. What about the jobs? Are they being replaced, or is this more of a great reshuffle?
And this comparison here really lays it all out. On one side, you've got the roles with high vulnerability. We're talking repetitive tasks, things you see in BPO or call centers. Those are definitely on the line. But then look at the other side, the complex stuff, software development, strategy. Those jobs aren't just vanishing, they're being transformed. The skills you need are just different now.
Let's make this super concrete. Before GenAI, you might have a team of, say, 8 to 10 people on a project. Now, with AI helping out, a team of just 3 to 5 can do the exact same amount of work. That is a huge leap in efficiency. But, and this is so important, it's not just about teams getting smaller. That's only half the picture. The other half is that completely new jobs are popping up. Roles for people who can manage and fine-tune these incredibly complex AI systems. Okay, so if the jobs are changing this much, what does it actually take to succeed now? That brings us to our next section, the new essential skill set. For a long, long time, the industry's business model was pretty simple. It was all about something called labor arbitrage. Basically, growth meant hiring more people at a lower cost. You got a bigger project, you hired more bodies. Simple as that. But now, that model is being flipped on its head. We're moving to intelligence arbitrage. Growth isn't tied to headcount anymore. It's all about AI-powered efficiency. It's about using knowledge to create more value with fewer people. Just think about the journey of coding itself, right? It started with having to memorize every single bit of syntax for languages like COBOL. Then we got tools like IntelliSense that made us way more productive. And now we have GenAI that can spit out whole chunks of code from a simple sentence. It's a different world.
And what that means is, the whole idea of a 10x developer has changed. It's not about who can type the fastest anymore. Nope. The new superstar is the person who really gets the business and can feed the AI the perfect context to get exactly what's needed.
So when you have such a fundamental change in skills and efficiency, well, it's no surprise that the entire business model has to change too.
And that change shows up in how companies even charge for their work. It used to be all about time and materials, billing for hours. Then it moved to selling a whole squad. But now, the big shift is towards outcome-based pricing. Clients don't care how many hours you worked, they pay for the result.
So where does India's software industry fit into all this? Well, their big value add isn't trying to build the next ChatGPT from scratch. Instead, they're becoming the absolute experts at applying these models. They're adding that deep industry knowledge for, say, banking, making sure it follows all the rules, and ensuring that it's robust enough for a giant company to use.
But, with any change this big, there's always a cost. And we have to talk about the human side of this, which can sometimes get lost in all the excitement about the technology.
And that brings up a really critical question. If this transformation is happening, whether we like it or not, how do we make sure it's a just transition for the huge number of people whose jobs are being turned upside down?
Well, what experts are saying is that it's not one single thing. It's a whole bunch of things. You need real safety nets, like unemployment benefits. You need reskilling programs that actually mean something, that are certified. We need to know how these algorithms are making decisions. We have to address the huge mental health burden this creates. And yeah, we even have to think about the climate impact of all the data centers making this happen.
So, we'll leave you with this to think about. AI is clearly making work more efficient. There's no doubt about that. But the real challenge, the question we all have to answer, is how do we make sure this new future of work is also equitable? How do we make sure it's fair for everyone?